Right now, the beginning of Black History Month, how Black UW-Madison alumni are showcasing their culture in an educational program. Plus, it's the biggest night in music. We show you all you need to know ahead of the Grammys. That's all coming up at 5:30. Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jalen Banks. I hope you're enjoying your weekend. But as we head back to work, let's go ahead and see if this warm-up is going to stick around just a little bit longer. Look at your first one forecast with meteorologist Blaze Keller. Blaze.
Well, the warmer temperatures are going to be sticking around. The 20s are not going away anytime soon. We'll be warm on Groundhog Day tomorrow as we're heading back to work. A little bit cooler Tuesday, Wednesday. Still in the 20s, though, before those 30s arrive by Thursday and Friday of next week. On Radar 3000, we do have a little bit of snow moving on through, beginning to make its way into the Cross Plains area, just moving outside of Mazo-Maney, Prairie du Sac, Sauk City, beginning to see that heavier snow shower push off to our east. But we're not done with snow. For folks who are dealing with that snow right now, again, eastern parts of Sauk County and western parts of Dane County, we got another line of snow expected, stretching from Viroqua south into Prairie du Chien, as well as further south into northern Illinois. This is going to continue to push its way off towards the east as we make our way over the next several hours. Don't expect much in the way of accumulation, though. We're not expecting anything really higher than about an inch of snow. Now, temperatures still hanging out in the 20s right now. We got to 26 in Madison, just shy of hitting an average high temperature for this time of year. So it looks like we'll probably have to wait until Thursday of next week. We're going to take a look at just how long those 30s stick around for when the snow wraps up in the full forecast.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Blaze. We'll see you then. And if you just by chance missed the full forecast, you can track the forecast on the First One weather app. It is hourly planners, road conditions, and even radar. You can download it for free in your phone's app store. Just search WISC weather. And in Beloit, 2 people are under arrest following a shooting that sent another person to the hospital. This happened Saturday night around 9:30 p.m. Officers responded to Skyline Drive near the Telford Park baseball field for a shots fired report. A minor was arrested for first-degree attempted homicide, attempted armed robbery, and reckless endangering safety. An 18-year-old was also arrested on an armed robbery charge. Police will continue to investigate. Monona police say a Madison man is under arrest after starting a high-speed chase on the Beltline. Late Friday night, an officer monitoring the speed on the Beltline near Southtown Drive had clocked a vehicle reportedly going 95 miles per hour. Officials say they pursued the driver through Monona Drive and onto Broadway towards U.S. Highway 51 as the car exceeded 100 miles per hour. Officials had to stop the chase due to road and traffic conditions, but they later found the car stuck off the road about 2.5 miles east where the pursuit had ended. The man driving was taken into custody without incident and is now facing tentative charges of felony eluding and second-degree recklessly endangering safety. He has been cited for his speed infraction and could also have his driver's license suspended. And in Rock County, a woman is under arrest on suspicion of her 4th offense of operating while intoxicated. Sheriff's deputies were dispatched to State Highway 213A, just a mile north of Magnolia, around 8 p.m. on Saturday night, after a vehicle was reported stuck in a ditch. Upon arrival, officials found a 53-year-old woman in the car unhurt with her vehicle slightly damaged. Officials say she displayed signs of impairment, leading to her arrest for OWI. She is scheduled to appear in court tomorrow. And a family of 8 has been relocated by the Red Cross after a fire destroyed their home. This happened Saturday morning in the town of Sparta. Fire crews responded to a home on County Highway AA just after 10 a.m. When they arrived, the garage was fully engulfed in fire that was spreading to the home. Though they fought the fire for 6 hours, the house is considered a total loss. Thankfully, no injuries have been reported. To kick off Black History Month, the Wisconsin Alumni Association's Black Affinity Group hosted Legacy and Libations, an event focused on celebrating the Black community here in Madison. This year's theme is Taking Flight, and it highlights UW-Madison students and their projects and small alumni-owned businesses. One of the projects highlighted was the Soul Folk Collective, a recently established research department at UW-Madison focused on telling the stories of Madison's Black community through research.
The University of Wisconsin-Madison is a major institution in our state. It's a forefront university in research and academics, and so we thought it was really important to highlight the work of Black Badgers, both students who are actively at the university, as well as the excellence that has come out of the university with our alumni and their businesses.
The Black Affinity Group was created to bring together the Black alumni community, creating opportunities for engagement, discussions, and mentorship with current students. The research presented by the SoFolk Collective is currently available to view on their website and will be donated to the Wisconsin Historical Society later this month. And ahead of Black History Month, UW-Whitewater hosted an event celebrating Black history in Rock County, the beauty of Black. It was an event highlighting African-American history in Rock County. The event's guest speaker was Willow Newell. She's the state's first Black Miss Wisconsin. I had the chance to chat with Newell on how Black history has influenced her.
It's easy to forget that the impact that you're making on those one-on-one levels is what's most important. And then remembering that people came before me who thought that, you know, if they came together and they talked about what was important to them, that eventually would make an impact on the future, and I am that future.
Willow's tenure as Miss Wisconsin will last another 5 months. That's as she intends to go back to school to get her master's in film. Tune in tonight at 10 to see more of my conversation with Willow. And it's music's biggest night, and it starts in less than 2 hours. Harry Styles, Queen Latifah, Carole King, Chaperone are just some of the few stars set to present tonight at the 68th Grammy Awards. Gwen Baumgartner is on the red carpet in downtown Los Angeles with what you need to know.
Excitement is building at the Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles ahead of tonight's 68th Annual Grammy Awards.
It's already a win to be here, and it's just a celebration. So
it's also a really special year. It's his 20th nomination, and I've been gassing him all day like, this is a big deal.
Hey.
Kendrick Lamar leads the pack with 9 nominations. GNX is his 5th consecutive studio album to be nominated for Album of the Year, something no other artist has ever done. Lady Gaga follows closely behind with 7 nominations. It's the first time she's up for Song, Record, and Album of the Year at the same time. Chris Willman is Variety's chief music critic.
Lady Gaga came back with an album that was pure fun, with a tour that everyone fell in love with, and this could finally be the kind of year she hasn't had at the Grammys.
Bad Bunny could also make history tonight. If he wins for Album of the Year, it would be the first time ever that a Spanish language album wins in this category.
It's hard to place bets this year, but I would certainly not bet against Bad Bunny.
Trevor Noah returns as host for his 6th and final time. Ben Winston is the Grammy's executive producer.
He's super smart and intelligent, and he's a massive music fan.
All 8 Best New Artist nominees are set to perform, as are many superstars, including Sabrina Carpenter and Justin Bieber. Lauryn Hill will take the stage to honor the late artists D'Angelo and Roberta Flack. And there will be an all-star tribute to Ozzy Osbourne, who died in July. Gwen Baumgartner, CBS News, Los Angeles.
And you can watch the 68th Annual Grammy Awards live right here on CBS, so stick around after the show. The Grammys start at 7. And coming up next on News 3 Now, a 5-year-old boy and his father have been released from ICE custody after 2 weeks of detainment. How the nation is reacting. Plus, a new study may relieve some concerns for some when it comes to painkillers and babies. Why? After the break.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5:30. Moving forward.
A 5-year-old Minneapolis boy and his father are back home in Minnesota this weekend after being detained by ICE agents and sent to a detention center in Texas. The detainment of Ian Ramos, who was originally detained by ICE agents while wearing a knit hat and carrying a Spider-Man backpack, sparked global outrage. CBS News' Ian Lee is in Minneapolis with more.
5-year-old Liam Ramos and his father, who were detained by immigration officers in Minnesota and held at an ICE facility in Texas, are back in Minneapolis this weekend, released after a judge's order. Democratic Representative Joaquin Castro accompanied father and son back to Minnesota and released these images. A photo of Liam wearing a bunny hat and Spider-Man backpack at the time of his detainment drew global outrage. Ramos was welcomed home by Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, among others. Liam's release comes amid a weekend of anti-ICE demonstrations throughout the nation, including in Los Angeles and Boston. Liam's release also comes as Democratic lawmakers continue to push for ICE reforms in Washington. Proposed new restrictions would include unmasking ICE agents and requiring more warrants. On Sunday's Face the Nation, Republican Representative Michael McCall acknowledged ICE operations in Minneapolis under Border Patrol's Gregory Bovino went too far.
Bovino went in there with these roving patrols. He escalated the situation. He escalated the tension between the public and law enforcement.
President Trump said this weekend he is now advising Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem not to intervene in protests occurring in cities led by Democrats unless local authorities ask for federal help.
And if they want help, they have to ask for it. Because if we go in, all they do is complain.
Trump's border czar Tom Homan has suggested the administration could reduce the number of immigration enforcement officers in Minnesota, but only if the state and local officials cooperate. Ian Lee, CBS News, Minneapolis.
Certainly something we'll continue to keep our eye on. Now, the date you drop mail into the mailbox may no longer be the date it's officially processed and postmarked. USPS posted on its website, quote, "While we are not changing our postmarking practices, we have made adjustments to our transportation operations, and the shift could have a big impact on people who pay bills, vote, or file their taxes through the mail."
Anything that's getting mailed to a government agency should be sent hand-stamped, registered mail, return receipt requested.
The National Society of Tax Professionals is echoing the recommendation from USPS. Mail documents a few days earlier or go inside the post office and get the date stamped at the counter, what's called a manual postmark. This adjustment is part of the agency's 10-year plan to cut costs and restore profitability. Common painkillers, acetaminophen and ibuprofen, are safe for babies in their first year of life. A University of Auckland study found there is no link between the painkillers and asthma as well as eczema. Researchers say the findings should allow parents whose infants are suffering from pain to feel more comfortable using the medications. And coming up next on News 3 Now at 5:30, Blaze Keller returns with a complete look of your first one forecast.
All right, we got into the 20s today, and they're sticking around as we head over the next full week of February, even squeezing out some 30s by Thursday. We didn't quite get to our normal high temperature for this time of year in the Madison area. We were 1 degree shy, so it looks like we'll likely be 20 or so days since we've had that average high temperature, or at least warmer than average high temperature, all the way back in mid-January. Now that we're kicking off February, we've got a lot of snow to accumulate, and of course we got to talk about Groundhog Day, which is set to arrive tomorrow, and obviously that's going to tell us whether 6 more weeks of winter are sticking around, or are we going to have an early spring. Cloud conditions are going to be a mix of partly sunny by the afternoon. So take that for what it means, depending on if Jimmy the Groundhog here sees his shadow, is going to obviously depend on if a cloud is passing over the sun. But as we go throughout the day, high pressure is going to move on in. It will clear out the cloud cover. That same high pressure system is going to keep us quiet and slightly cooler for not only Tuesday, but Wednesday as well. We'll go from the mid-20s tomorrow into more of those low to mid-20s, both Tuesday and Wednesday. But with the classic Canadian high pressure system, we're not expecting much in the way of snow, and winds are going to be light because it is a stronger one and they bring quieter conditions typically. In terms of snow tonight, we're looking at less than an inch. This is going to be a light, fluffy snow. It's going to move on in and out of here by the time we really go into that midnight hour into Monday, with maybe a few lingering flurries in some of our far eastern counties through the early parts of tomorrow morning's commute. We'll hang out back in those mid-20s on Monday, low 20s Tuesday and Wednesday with that high pressure system overhead. On the backside of that, high 30s Thursday, Friday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of the following work week. week, we might even flirt with the 40s by not next Wednesday, but the following Wednesday, getting us closer to the middle of February, which again is when I suspect that we'll likely start to see more of these above average temperature days. In terms of snow, we don't really need any more for January. Obviously, it has come and gone, so we picked up 15 inches on the dot, a little bit more than what we needed to for this time of year, but or for a typical January, but that's okay. It's not going to be too bad looking into February. At least for now, it kind of looks like we're likely going to be dealing with a little bit of snow here as we kick it off. Finally, there it is. It looks like the cooler air is moving on out of here. Warmer than average temperatures looking to come back as we get closer, as I said, to the middle of February. About a 40 to 50% chance of being warmer than average from the 9th through the 15th. Take a look at our low temperatures this morning. We got below zero in Madison, 30 in Bismarck, 38 in Billings. It was 35 in Miami. I bet they were hurting. If we could go back quickly and just show the 7-day real quick so that folks at home can see all those 30s out there. Thursday, Friday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of the following work week. Not a lot in the way of snow or rain chances even when we warm on up.
I mean, who would have thought that us here in Madison and up in the Midwest would have similar temperatures to those down in Miami?
All my meteorologist friends in Florida, they were
going through it.
Oh yeah, falling
I thought
iguanas.
Florida was untouchable.
Yeah,
especially that far south.
Yeah, to get that.
And
cold.
I think some of the wind chills got like single digits.
Okay, all right. Well, it looks like vacationing at this point doesn't really hold much weight. All right, Kay, what do we have coming up in sports?
Next in sports, we'll talk about the good old days when the Bucks were on fire. Next on News 3 Now.
And now, News 3 Now Sports, brought to you by TDS Telecom.
Watching the Bucks play nowadays, all you want to do is reminisce back to 2021, the good old days when things were good. But without Giannis, the Bucks just don't look like themselves. Taking on the Celtics today and right away going on a 9-0 run with Ryan Rollins dropping a 3 to make it 12. The Bucks gained some momentum to take an early lead that would only last the first quarter. Jaylen Brown and the Celtics would end up having their way with the Deer, losing their 5th straight, 107-79. In their 8th loss in the last 9 games. After getting back into a flow state, Wisconsin men's basketball is looking to take some much-needed rest. After beating Ohio State, the Badgers are now 16-6 and 8-3 in conference play, looking to be seated high for the Big Ten Conference Tournament. Head coach Greg Gard is proud of this win, but also ready for his entire team to be healthy.
Good team win against a good team, so it was important for us to play well and continue on our journey. So happy for our guys. We finally get a little break here. We need some rest time just to get a little healthier and come up for air for a bit. So it's coming at a good time. And
Najawani Riak is a sophomore star at Madison LaFlante. Leading the state in scoring on Tuesday. Our sports director, Andrew Bannister, will have a full feature on the Phenom, a Phenom that her coach, Willie Green, says is still getting better. She's on one of the best players in the country in the class of 2028 and has more than 40 Division I offers.
Still very young and still learning the game, to be honest with you. But as far as like physical talent, like that's the best talent we coached here at La Follette and in the state actually. Like she's one of the top players, of course, the #1 in class 28 and the #7 player in the country. So she can do a lot of things for us on the court. And man, she's a very, very special, very
good player out there in La Follette, huh?
Yeah,
Jaylen?
absolutely. I mean, 40 Division I offers as a sophomore.
Crazy.
You could see Coach Green's smile where he's like, yeah, she's one of them ones.
Yeah, she is definitely excited to see wherever she chooses to go.
And then real quick, you were at the game yesterday for UW men's basketball.
Yes.
How's the team looking? You know, you've seen much of the season so far.
They look good. They look great. But I think this time off is going to give them some much-needed time that they need. I mean, Andrew Rohde was out because he got banged up a little bit in Minnesota. And so just being able to have some rest, have an entire week off, get those guys in the training room, get some rehab, and then just start fresh to finish out the rest of the season to get a high seed for conference.
All right, well, sounds good. Thank you, Kay. A final check of your first one forecast is coming up when we return. And one last reminder, the Grammy Awards are tonight. Kendrick Lamar leads the 2026 Grammys with 9 nominations, an encore of last year's success where he took home 5 awards. He's competing again for Record of the Year alongside Bad Bunny, Sabrina Carpenter, Doechii, Billie Eilish, and many more. You can watch your Grammys right here on CBS starting at 7, so please stick around right after the show so you can see the biggest night in music. Any of those artists you guys listen to?
I like Kendrick.
Kendrick,
yeah. There were some names up there for the Record of the Year. That's going to be a hard one because there were some good songs.
Yeah, absolutely.
And songs that just stuck in people's minds.
And then you've got Bad Bunny, who's going to be performing during the Super Bowl. So
yeah,
might be getting a little preview if you aren't too familiar with his work. But Blaze, what do we have coming up in weather?
Well, it is going to be a good night to watch the Grammys and watch us afterwards because it's going to be chilly, mostly cloudy, a little bit of snow. We'll hang out in those 20s for the most part overnight, and we won't warm up a whole lot as we go into Monday, just a little bit as the skies open up. Low 20s Tuesday, Wednesday, 30s on Thursday.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Blaze, and thank you, Kane. Thank you all for joining us. The Grammys are at 7. We'll see you afterwards at 10.